Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest is living proof that a future board can make your dream life a reality. Here to tell us more and to share her technique, we welcome back the author of All the Things I Wish I Knew, Master Life Coach Sarah Centrella. Good to see you again, Sarah.
So great to see you again, Helen.
I have never heard of a future board. Now, vision boards I've heard of. Is it the same thing?
So to me, words really matter. I think they're predictive of what it is that we want. So when I started doing this way back in like 2009, I thought this is really a depiction of my future. And I wanted it to be predictive of what it was I was working towards, what it was I wanted. And it wasn't just a vision or a dream or a fantasy. I kind of took it very seriously. And so that is really kind of the basis. And then I have a couple specific rules, if you will, that really help make it an authentic future board. And trust me, authentic future boards manifest really quickly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, and then tell me, you have a book about it too.
I do, yes. So the book, #Futureboards, goes through all of the steps and tools, teaches you how to find the right pictures, how to find out what you want in all the 5 categories.
Okay, let's talk about the 5 categories. Let's start with relationships. So like for you, what did you put on your
Absolutely.
If you
so
don't mind sharing.
This is actually one of my personal future boards. And so the people category is the relationships. So you want to think about
all relationships, not just romantic relationships.
Exactly, and not just the ones you have, but the ones that you want. So if you want to manifest love, if you want to manifest a family, best friends, whatever, you're actually looking for pictures that show what you would be doing. So this board is very action.
Show me one that shows you doing something
that
you
absolutely.
wanted.
So here's a good one here of 2 best friends just laughing, having a good time. And so what I wanted to manifest in my life at that time was the closeness of girlfriends and bringing girlfriends into my life. So you really want to think about, okay, if I had what I wanted, whether it's love, whatever, what would we be doing best case scenario?
Yeah. And have you achieved that?
Absolutely. I actually manifested my 2 best friends.
Well, that's great.
From my first
okay, and then the next one, you're talking about career and ambitions.
Yes. So when you're thinking about career and ambitions, I want you to think about what is your biggest and best version of where you want your career to go. Not what your next step is in your career, which is what most people are thinking.
Goal.
Yeah. So think 5, 10 years out. Think like, if everything I wanted happened, what is that going to look like?
Yeah.
And then again, translate that into a picture. So what does that big moment for you look like?
Where do you, show me yours, and then where do you find these pictures?
So great question. So one of my career ones was actually, I'll have us look into here. This was to do TV segments. So here we are, Helen.
Yeah, here we are. Okay.
And where you find all the pictures is actually on Pinterest. So a lot of people don't know this, but Pinterest is the largest photography library on the internet.
And then you can just print it out.
Yeah, and then you just save the picture. I usually dump them into like a Word doc so I can kind of change the size. And then you just color print it.
Do you share your future board with people or keep it to yourself?
That's such a good question, because on Pinterest you can make it public or private.
Right.
And I always say, you know, listen, if this is something you want and it's something you want to actually live in real life, this is a great way to claim it. In the beginning, it's a little nerve-wracking when you have big dreams. But I think kind of making that public is your first really owning it and claiming it.
Right.
And then print it and make the board, you know, be somewhere that you see it every day.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Passion and joys are your next category.
Yeah, and that's a big one. I think it's one a lot of Americans don't, you know, typically have a lot of time for, don't really think about. But it is actually the one that is best for our mental health. It helps us de-stress, things like that. So for me, cooking is really one of my passions and joys. I love it. I love to garden, like your previous segment. And so whatever it is that you enjoy, and it's typically a doing or an activity thing, then it's one of those things that you have to make time for. And this is a great way to sit down and say, okay, well, what is it that I really like? And how do I make time for it? And what does that look like? And then you'll start doing it and you'll get the benefit.
Okay, and then mind and body.
So mind and body is, again, like in best case scenario, when I am looking and feeling my best, both mentally and physically, what are some of those goals? So I think I have a couple on here. I have yoga or meditation in my mind and body category. And that's a really good reminder for me that I need to not only de-stress, take care of myself physically, but also growth too. So I have reading, usually books or reading in that.
Now this is where I think some people can kind of get a little over the top, like put maybe a model's picture there,
Right.
when whatever your height or whatever, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, or your age or whatever, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to be a downer, but for some of us, being a model is not going to happen.
Right. So I think it is actually really important, and one of the reasons why I love Pinterest is because you can find every version, right?
Okay.
You can find a woman
So,
of
but
any
we need
age.
to be realistic.
I think there's a little bit of realisticness to it, but also if there's an ideal, let's say that there's one on there of a woman who's pretty buff.
Yeah. I thought right here.
Yeah, so
right here.
she's a little buff. So that is, you know, a reminder to me to use weights, to get in the gym.
Yeah.
I might never look like that. I probably won't. But I think having that
it's
as
motivation.
a goal, continues to motivate you.
And then lastly, wealth and abundance.
Yeah, so this is one where a lot of people typically are putting just material objects, you know, they're putting like a Ferrari or whatever
A
on.
boat.
Yeah. What I want people to do is to actually think about, okay, when money is not an object, you know, and I have wealth and abundance, and how am I then going to spend my money? So we're kind of looking at it from a top-down approach. How does that money impact my life? How does it change my lifestyle?
Right.
So we're looking more for that type of
Like travels and that kind of thing.
representation. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of travel on. Probably my wealth and abundance is my handbags. I do love a good handbag.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
So yeah,
That is great. We want to tell everyone again, the book again is titled
Futureboards, #Futureboards.
Love it. All right.
Yeah.
All the things I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen.
All right.